Hi. So, this was supposed to be a read us in vlog, and then I watched it back, and no one is ever going to see that video. So I thought instead, since it's been a little bit of a while, that I'd do a book haul and talk about what that means for next year. But first, this is kind of cheating because I think I got this last month. I want to talk about my friend and her lovely little paper craft comic. I think it was originally on Instagram. I will link if it's still there, and also to her Ko-fi, where I think you can get it in PDF form. This is a test, and I don't know if it's out yet, but also to that if it's out. It talks about like trauma and abuse, so be cautious if that is something that you're sensitive to. But I think it's a really lovely is perhaps not quite the right word. I think it's hopeful, and I think it's well worth a read. I have 3 packages with me, and a few more still to come. Like I said, we'll talk about what that means for the channel. One of them that hasn't arrived is from Hull Press, and that's fast becoming one of my favourite publishers. I mention this because I vlogged 2 fake games earlier in the year, and I did mean to do more. The Age of Rot was one of them. The problem is they're coming from Italy, and so the shipping is a little bit expensive. So even though I made this order in July, it didn't click in my head that one of the books was a pre-order, and so they haven't arrived yet. But I think To Bake a Breadling is the fake game that's coming, and a vlog, of course, will follow at some point. Okay, so with oh boy, sorry, I thought this was going to be easy to open. Ow. Oh great. So this is not what I thought it was going to be at all. This is from Ryfield Investments. Okay. This is, oh boy, Lincoln. Wait. Okay, that's the correct way. The house is upside down. This is by Ai-Jang. It is a short kind of horror, might be gothic, might be confusing it because it's a romancing the gothic book pick. I've heard great things about this. Very excited to get to it. Sorry, that was not what I was expecting to come out at all. There is no synopsis on the back, so I've had to pull it up here. And that is from acclaimed author Ai-Jang. Follow Wenshi, Liam, and Mrs. to the mysterious town of Home, a place where the dead live again as spirits, conjured by the grief-sick population that refuses to let go. It also has 2 other short stories in it, if this is the same as that. Youngsher and Teeter Totter. I'm excited. Like I said, I wanted to read this for a long time, but also I am kind of in a really good place with Asian books about grief, and The River Drags Her Down was one, and I think The Forest of Stolen Girls was another. Hopefully we're going to be in a trifecta this year. Okay, so I do try and order from like Biblio and Bookshop, like more independent places, but Waterstones had its Black Friday deal, which was like triple points if you spend over a certain amount. And I'm sorry, but there are a few academic or research books that I was interested in, and so I went with that. This is not one of them. I needed to get some money to get over the, so this is a quick read. It is £1, and I needed just a little bit of help to get over the threshold. I didn't want to be like buying like a $9.99 book, so this is A New Year by Leila Abilela. and the synopsis is: Sue misses her husband. He died suddenly, giving her no chance to say goodbye. But despite her grief, she feels lucky. Her 3 children have promised to look after her, and she moves in with her oldest son's family. At first, things go smoothly. Her grandchildren adore her cooking and spend cozy evenings together. But over time, tensions grow. Accused of interfering, she's asked to leave. How will Sue fill the long hours now that she's on her own? Will she be able to repair her relationship with her children, and can she build a new life on her own terms? So I'm getting a lot of websites saying that it's Suad, and also I'm seeing comments saying that's not how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, if you would like to tell me what the correct pronunciation is, I would be very grateful. I did think I would maybe vlog this in the new year, because, you know, new year. We will see. We will see. I don't want to fuck that up for a whole video. And then we have this one, which is not as heavy as it looks. Oh boy. Not again. Oh, wait. That's easier. So, okay. We have a little bit of a problem. So I can't return this book because I will lose my triple points if I return this book. But I got in here and I thought, wait, what's in this pile? Uh-oh. Oh no, this cannot be for this one book. You cannot be serious. Yeah, it's all this one book. Okay. I'm not mad about having 2 copies of it. I'm mad because I would have gotten Benable Wen's other book if I knew that was the case. She has more recently done one on the I Ching, on the Book of Destinies, I think it's called. Yes, it's called I Ching the Oracle, a practical guide to the Book of Changes. An updated translation annotated with cultural and historical references, restoring the I Ching to its shamanic origins. And if I'd known that I had this one, I would have gotten that one. Again, we need to talk about a lot of people in the English circle that I know like Benable Wen's work. And I cannot get out of my head that one review that was like, she doesn't know Pali and she has used a mistranslation. And I am terrified, therefore, that, again, I don't really have academic sources for like Taoism and Buddhism and the kind of work that I want to do. So it is a little bit scary to me, the idea that I might have, like, because everyone is going off of Benable Wen, that my entire well of research is poisoned. So the full title of this is The Tao of Craft, Food Talismans and Casting Sigils in the Eastern Esoteric Tradition. It talks about, you know, food talismans. It talks about Qigong and Yin and Yang and Bagua and Wuxing. And I think it is kind of hard to be as excited when I have that review in the back of my head. But it's the best I've got, and so I think this is going to be my annotation book. Because God knows I'm going to do a lot of annotations. Yeah, it's great in some parts because it has a lot of like tables and illustrations. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the other books that are coming, because I really thought at least one of like the more pertinent ones would have arrived. It's fine. There's The Journey. I don't know who the author is for this. It's another quick reads. But I do believe that the author is African, and I'm woefully unfamiliar with African literature. I think the only one that's coming to mind is Intruders by Mohali Mashiko. I think that's how you pronounce it. The girl who circumnavigated fairyland in a ship of her own making. This, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. But a few years back, during the pandemic, I was like, oh, what's this open library thing? And I was not comfortable just leaving it once I found out. So yeah, I bought my copy now, and I will be working my way through the other books that I borrowed back then. Midst Tales from the Cosmos is a big one for the channel because best podcast in the world. Midst is it's an omnibus of 3, I think, comics or graphic novels. I will be filming a sewing vlog in tandem with it. Probably a reading and sewing vlog, if we're going to be honest. Probably around summer going into autumn, probably. We're going to try and rein it in this time. You cannot watch the mid-score video, I'm pretty sure I pirated that, because it was not good. Hopefully this one will be better and there will be something wearable at the end. What I was really hoping would have arrived was The Art of the Yellow Springs, Understanding Chinese Tombs. Because in tandem with this, they were the big ones. One of my favourite genres is the tomb robbing genre. We have 2 series up there. Chronicles of... So we have the box set of the original, and then the latter half of the translated The Grave Robbers Chronicles. 2 cosplay books for I think the first two in the series. Basically just like a graphic novel but with cosplay. And then an English graphic novel, which I have a lot of thoughts about that. We're not going to get into them here. If it so pleases you, you can get City of Sand Book 1 and 2 through Delcourt Press. I think it was published nigh on 10 years ago, so maybe secondhand. I have nothing good to say about this series, but if I'm going to be honest, I have very little good to say about the Grave Robbers Chronicles either, but it is an incredibly compelling and inspiring genre for me. And the books are the same. Like, even when I hate them, I'm still at the edge of my seat. And to be clear, I don't want to write in the tomb robbing genre, but I like playing in the sandbox. He is fantastic with monsters, up until he wasn't. But like, it wormed its way into like my heart, and I am obsessed. So with apologies to anyone who thinks this sounds like an interesting video, it has unfortunately been scrapped. But it was supposed to be about the one shot that I'm going to be running for the Caledonian Starlight Guild next year, where my actual published apothecary gets her hands on a bunch of adventurers. And is like, hey, I need some herbs. Can you please go into my painting and get them for me? And obviously that's not tomb robbing, but it is kind of inspired by it. Because, you know, there are creatures and there are like traps, and that's kind of more the thing that I wanna do, if that makes sense. Like, I think it was John Sola who, oh God, I don't remember if it was reading the Remnants or exploring an empty tomb, but I really liked the sound of it, and instantly in my head I was like, oh, I know where these women are going to be. That's really interesting. And I think that dovetails very neatly with a one shot that I wanted to run and never did, of like my first D&D girl who came from a family of like tomb guardians rather than tomb robbers, and this is where, if you're from my D&D group, you need to fuck off, because I might still run this at some point, so bye. Yeah, that's actually probably maybe too much information to give out at this point. Things change. But I never managed to write it, because in my head I was always like, I don't know how you lay out a tomb. Because when it is not like a peasant or a commoner, it's more mausoleum-like. It is, there are like, kind of like the Forbidden Palace, you have all these different buildings to get through before you get to like the inner sanctum, and I could never figure out how to make that work. And I know that's me being pedantic in like the worst way, but it's my brain and I can't get past that. So yeah, like I said, it was either reading the Remnants or exploring an empty tomb that gave me that scene in my head. And I would love to have time next year to sit down and write this. Which would also mean writing vlogs, which would be fun. But as you have seen from like the long stretches of no uploads, I don't know. We can only hope. And that is the plan for next year. 2 reading vlogs, 1 with sewing, and some writing vlogs, and if it interests you, some research vlogs. Thanks for watching. Bye.